So we continue. So I was on Z4. Get it by taking 1.2x1, 1.4x2, 3.3x3, 0.6x4, then 1x5. So x1 is working capital divided by total assets. X2 will be given by the retained earnings. Retained earnings, you divide by the total assets. Then we have X3 be given by the operating profits. Operating profits divide by total. This is divide by total assets. Then X4 will be the market value of equity. Value of equity. You divide by total liability. Total liability. Then X5 will be the sales over total assets. Sales over total assets. That is how you get the Z. That is how we get the Z. That's how we get the Z. So I'll do one example on that. November 2020. Do one example. That November 2020, question number 1B. November 2020. 1B. November 2020, question number 1B. November 2020, question number 1B. November 2020, question 1B. Professor Edward Altman model for prediction of bankruptcy is given as follows. Being given the Z score there, being given the X1, X2, X3, and the X5. The financial ratios, which according to Professor Altman have the discriminating power. Being given there. Then given below is a summarized financial statement of Alpha, the year ended 31st December 2019. Being given the income statement, we also have the statement of financial position. In addition, we've been given that in this model, the score of 2.7 or more indicates no signs of failure. The score of 1 to less or less indicates there are signs of failure. The firm ordinary shares are currently trading at 15 each. You require the Z score of Alpha. So Z score in this case, we have 1.2x1, 1.4x2, plus 3.3x3, plus 0.6 x4 plus 0. This is just 1. This is just 1. When you estimate that, it will just give you 1 as you've been given there, given us as 1. So the first thing that I do, I will get the X1, which is the working capital of the total asset. Now, how do we get the working capital? Working capital is just the current asset. You minus the current liability. Working capital is the current asset. You minus the current liability. So we were given there. What was the value for the current asset? Current assets, you have 100,000. You have also for the total current liability, how much? 20,000. Then I divide by. Then we divide by. We divide by the total assets, which is 400,000. That is giving you how much? Giving you how much? Yes? 0.2. Get X2, which is retained earnings. You divide by the total assets. What was our retained earnings? You go to equity and liabilities, get the retained earning, which is the retained profit. 120 divided by 400,000. It's giving you how much? Giving you how much? 0.3. We also have X3, which we said is the earning before interest and tax divided by total asset. Earning before interest and tax, that is the operating profits. So what was our operating profits? It is 40 by 400. So we give you how much? Is 1, right? 0.1. So we go to X4. X4 in this case we have, it is market value of equity. Market value of equity. You divide by total liability. Total liability. So market value of equity will be now the current market value. So you just get the number of shares, you multiply by the current market price. So what is our number of shares? The number of shares will be the share capital. 100,000 I divide by 10. That is giving us the number of shares. And they are currently trading at how much? 15. Then you divide by total liability. Total liability, we've said, we've been told that it will include both the value of debt and preference share capital. So I just have the value of debt, which is we have 40, the preference shares, plus 80 for the debenture capital. So that will give you how much? Remember, on the formula they see including the preference what? Share capital. That was how. And that is why in this case we're taking them as part of liability from the formula, which in that case is giving you how much? Yes? 1 point. And then the last one is the X5. You have sales over total assets. So what is our sales? Our sales in this case, we have 400,000. We divide by 400,000. Which in this case, this is what? 1. So we can get our Z. Z is 1.2 of X1, which is 0.2, plus 1.4 of X2, which is 0.3, plus this is 3.3 of X3, 0.1, plus this is 0.6 of 1.25, then plus last one is 0.999 of 1. What will be our Z? What will be our Z? What will be our Z? $2.73. 2.43.
2.733.
73. 39. That. So what does that indicate? Success. So from the comment, she indicates success. That okay? Right? Now we can get to the second one very fast, which is now the spring gauge model. 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 So you write and say this model was developed. This model was developed in 1973. In 1973, and the developer came up with the following ratios. And the developer came up with the following ratios. And the developer came up with the following ratios. Now, for the spring gauge is 1.038 plus. This to be for the B. This would be 3.07B plus. This other one is for the C, be 0.66 plus 0.4 B.
Camera.
Sorry. Okay, I've adjusted. So that is for the spring gauge. 1.03, yeah, plus 3.07B plus 0.66C, then plus D. Now, how do we get the A here? Our A still is working capital. Working capital.
Excuse me.
Sorry?
Kindly be checking on our chats for online students.
I'm doing so. Is there any question?
Yeah, there are so many questions you have not been responding, but we appreciate your way of lecturing. It's good.
Or that you say that you got how much? Or X4, there is a mistake that we've done here. Did we include the current liability on the total liabilities? December. This should be equal to how much? I only consider the events and all. Yeah, current liability of how much? Yes? 120,000. Well, that means this will be how? 140 divided by 150. Niambie itakupea ngapi? So this one has to change. That is 0 point. So that means this now will not be a success. We'll have to change 1.07. So that is giving you how much? 31. Yeah, should be 2.631. So that is indicating a success of what? Median. Remember, is in between 1.8 and 2.7. So we can now proceed then. Now, this will be over the total asset. The B will just be given by, now B in this case will now be the I before interest and tax over the total asset. C will now be given by I before tax over, this is now the total current liability. Current liability. And then for D, it will be the sales of our total assets. Sales over the total asset. Sales over the total assets. So the decision criteria here. Decision criteria. Now, if spend rate is greater than 0.862, this one indicates success. If it is less than 0.862, this one indicates what? Indicates failure. Indicates failure. Can I have an example if you're done? An example, September 2021. I mean, December 2021, question 3C. December 2021, question 3C. December 2021, question number 3C. December 2021 is the question of 3C. December 2021, question 3C. Now, the following data relates to Kaban Limited, a company that operates in a manufacturing sector. The year ended 31st December 2020. Not the pile of paper, it's a December. Now, we have the sales, total assets, total liabilities, retained earnings, net working capital, earnings before interest and taxes, the market value of equity, book value of total liabilities. The company is currently paying interest on long-term debt instruments amounting to 905,000 per year. And the company's total liability is constituted in the ratio of 2:5 between the current and non-current components. You are required, using the Springate model, assess the financial health of the company. And when you use the Springate model, we've been given there, they are set with the 1.03F plus. This is 3.07B plus 0.66B plus this one we say is now the 0.4B. Then they have given you the formula. So in this case, we begin with the A is just to get the what is the working capital. We divide by total assets. So what is our working capital? In this case, we've been given the net working capital, which is a negative of how much? 1177. Is 1777. Total assets, we've been given there as 49,570 what? 9. So it will give you how much? But also get B. B we said is earning before interest and tax divided by the total assets. So the first one you get in negative 0.04. Go the second one, and before interest and tax, 2605 divided by 49,579. That will give you how much? Will give you how much? Is the earning before tax by total current liability. Imepata ngapi? 0.05. Now, earning before tax is after you less the interest. And therefore, what I do, we have the earning here, 2605. I will minus the interest, which we were given as how much? 900 and what? 5,000, right? And then I divide by total current liability. So what will be our current liability? Our current liability, it will be 2/7 times what? 50/44, the total liability. Which in that case is giving you how much? Giving you how much? $14.41. So 14.41. That will give you how much? How much is it giving you? 17. What? Someone who is talking about 1700. Or is up there? So 1700 you divide by 14.41. This is giving you how much? 1.1. Now the last one is get the D now. Even though it is tells about the total asset. So what is our sales there? Sales is of how much? That is 25,678. I divide by the total assets is 49. So giving you how much? 0.52. So with that now we can get our Z, which in this case will be 1.2, 1.03. Here we've gotten how much? Negative 0.0 plus. This is 3.07. This one is being happy. Gotten 0.05. And then C, we have this is 0.66. C was 1 point. And then you add the last one is what we call the what? 0.4 multiplied by 0.5. Tell me how much is they giving you? How much is it giving you? $1.1123. So what does that indicate? Success or failure? This one indicates so. Indicates success. Is that okay? It indicates success. Not mainly on that part of now the whole net income operating deal. Remember this one I said is in regards to what we call the financial distress. When the company is having what we call financial problem. Okay. Now the third word, capital structure theory is now what we call the traditional what? Traditional theory. And that is basically on the theory part. Is a question I think was November 2016, where you were asked to 1.0. That's happening in a calculator. You with your calculators. 1.099. Online, I see they have gotten 1.1123. Okay. Now let's just proceed then. So I was just talking about what we call the traditional view. And when you look at that question that I've said, I think is November 2016 or May 2016. The one that is talking about the assumptions of traditional theory of capital structure. That one is what we call a traditional view. That's how. You know the assumptions of the traditional theory of capital structure. When you are beginning on the capital structure theory, you say that the theories are founded under which assumption? You talked about that. The theory is based on which assumptions? Therefore, those are the traditional theory is also part of what? Theories of capital structure. So when you look at that question, I've said is on November 2016 or May. November 2016 3A. Assumptions of the traditional theory of capital structure. Now you can just write there on the traditional theory. Just right there on that one, which is the traditional theory. The traditional theory, say, go ahead and say, according to this theory, the capital structure is relevant. According to this theory, the capital structure is relevant since it affects value of the company and WSCC. Relevant since it affects value of the company and WSCC. I've said according to this theory, the capital structure is relevant since it affects capital structure is relevant since it affects the value of the company and WSCC. Value of the company and WSCC. Say it is said that column number one, says that column number one, the cost of debt will always be lower than the cost of equity. The cost of debt will always be lower than the cost of equity. Will always be lower than the cost of equity. Number two, the increase in use of debt. 1, 2. The increase in use of debt. The increase in use of debt in the capital structure. Increase in use of debt in the capital structure does not increase, does not affect the cost of debt. does not affect the cost of debt. And not affect the cost of debt. So that is on that part. And I'm hoping that you talked about the WSCC, right? MCC on the breakpoint. You talked about that. And that is in it mainly on what we call the financing decisions. So financing decision, you have to cover 3 areas. Basically on what we call the cost of capital, any on the breakpoints. And then the second part is on the capital structure theories. That one is on the special topics in finance. It's only so point of indifference, you have talked about that. And you have also talked about the adjusted NBV. Well, the lease and buy options. Or simalizia the bus is on the part of this. The next class we just do on the mergers and acquisition, then risk analysis and capital budget. Awesome. So let's just finalize on these special topics in finance. So special topics in financing, as I understand, you talked about the point of indifference. So this one I'm not going to talk about, but just to explain, we talk of it as the level of financing where the earning before interest and tax and earning per share for all available options are equal. So, and in that case, I understand you talked about what we call, for you to get the earning per share will depend on the nature of financing. So, if it's equity and debt, and also the equity and preference loan. So the second one is on what we call the adjusted NBV, adjusted net present value. So, and then the third one, what we call the lease or buy options. Lease or buy options. Number 4, which this one I'm not gonna talk about them. These ones are on the section 3. Is these two. What we call the rise issues and what we call the leverages. What now we mean to talk of in this case is now on the point of indifference, just say NBV and lease or buy object. So I just begin with the part which is now point of indifference. We talked about that. So I can talk of the adjusted NBV. The adjusted NBV. And begin with that. The adjusted NBV. Now, adjusted NBV generally, this one is normally used under the following circumstances. I think it's a question in which city, April 2022. April 2022, question number 1B. April 2022, question 1B, Roman 2. Right now. Roman 2. April 2022, Roman 2, you are to propose circumstances under which adjusted NBV is what? Required. So in the circumstances under which now, because this is now when we use what we call the adjusted NBV. Now, listen here. So for you to use the adjusted NBV, we'll use it under the following assumption, under the following circumstances. Number 1, if the financing of the project is different from the existing financing of the company, or I use the other terms. If the capital structure of the project is different from the company's existing capital structure. So ni kumaanisha like unaweza pata the company is being financed by 60% equity, 40% debt. Sawa. Then upate for the project is 30 and 80%. Are you getting? In that case, you use the adjusted NBV. Pamoja. Number two is when now the project is partially financed using a loan that is subsidized. Pamoja. This is how where generally is when the government subsidies. Where the government is concerned on a given project, they can provide what? Subsidies in production, probably if you are producing. So in that case also you can apply what? The or you can do using, or you can look for what we call the adjusted NBV. The other one is where the capital structure of the project is complex. So generally, I'm talking about the project that you want to do in this case is having a complex capital structure. Are we together? So you can just write this. Adjusted NBV is applicable. Adjusted NBV is applicable. Adjusted NBV is applicable under the following circumstances. Adjusted NBV is applicable under the following circumstances. Adjusted NBV is applicable under the following circumstances. Number one, if the financing of the new project, the financing of the new project is different from the company's, existing capital structure, is different from the company's existing capital structure, is different from the company's existing capital structure, different from the company's existing capital structure. Number two, where the project is partially financed, using a loan that is subsidized, Number three, where the capital allowance and the tax benefit arising, where the capital allowance and tax benefit arising, where the capital allowance and tax benefit arising from the project, capital allowance and tax benefit arising from the project are only provided for some periods, The other one, where there are different types of cash flows, generated by the project, which are discounted using different discounting rates, Now, that is on that part. The circumstances under which it may be applicable. Now, these are the steps that we follow. The steps followed. So for the steps followed, number one, we determine the base rate and B. Base case and B. This is assuming that the company is all equity Assuming that the company is all equity finance. So what we mean in this case, the company is only financed by the equity. So how do we get the LVB? LVB will be given by the present value cash inflow minus the present value cash outflow. Present value cash inflow minus the present value cash outflow. When I talk of inflow, is out of the cash flows generated. What's up? When you talk about the outflow, is the initial investment. The initial cost or initial investment. Now, listen here. To get the cash flow, the present value cash inflow, remember we have to discount the cash flows. And to discount these cash flows, we have to know the cost of equity. Because here, remember, we think that the company is all what? Equity finance. So we'll be required to get the cost of equity, which is the KE, cost of equity. And in this case, we use what we call the CAPM, the capital asset pricing model. And on CAPM, this will be risk-free rate plus the expected return of the market minus risk-free rate, then you multiply by the beta, but this should be beta of what? Beta of equity of unlevered. Reason being, company is all equity finance. Are we together? So how do we then get the beta of equity of unlevered? We use the Amada model. So Amada model. You get this by taking what? Beta of equity of levered. Right? You talked about this. You divide by 1 plus proportion of debt over equity, 1 minus taxation. That is how we'll be able to get the beta of equity of unlevered. Now, that is step number 1. Step number 1, you determine what we call the base case NPV. Step number 2, determine the present value of subsidy. Determine the present value of subsidy. Present value subsidy. And this is net of what? Net of tax. Awesome. And to get this, we discount it using the risk score. Discounted using the risk-free rate. Discounted using the risk-free rate. That is how we discount that to get the what? And not generally the present value of subsidy. When you're looking for the present value is the cash flow. So generally, I'm talking about the benefit. Now, what do we mean in this case? When you are given a subsidy, remember in this case, the interest will be lower than your normal long-term debt. So the benefit that we are talking about is now the difference in the rate. So that difference in the rate is now what will be our benefit, which is now what will be discounted. We just be able to see that when we be doing an example. Number 3. Step number 3. Determine the present value of interest tax shield. Determine the present value of interest tax shield. Present value of interest tax shield. This one you also say discounted at risk-free rate. Discounted at risk-free rate. And then number 4, determined. And I'm hoping you have indicated that. Discounted at risk what? The present value of interest tax shield. And then number 4, you determine number 4, determine the present value of issuing cost, present value of issuing cost, or the flotation cost. Issuing cost or the flotation cost. Issuing cost or the flotation cost. Now, this one will arise if in this case they are going to issue what? Shares. Remember, in the shares, you'll have to incur the brokerage fees and so forth. That is now the present value. So meaning that the value that you get there, that one you don't have to discount. That will still be our present what? Value. Let's do an example. September 2015, question number 1. 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 So if I do that question, then for this one of April 2021, must be able to do it. Just the same question. The only thing that they did, the difference was on the capital. When you look at that question, the only difference was the amount to raise from all those various sources of finance. That's how. Now, let me just do that of September 2015, question number 1. September 2015, question number 1B. This is what the question reads. The manager of Kawaida Limited are investigating a potential shillings 25 billion investment. So remember, this is now the Kawaida Limited, which is the company. The investment will be a diversification away from the expansion mainstream activities into food manufacturing industry. That means now our new project is now on the food manufacturing industry. Are we together? Now, shilling 6 million of the investment would be financed by internal funds. Internal funds, internal sources of finance, those are what? Retained earnings. 10 million by rights issues. Now, what's our rights issues? Rights issue is just a method of raising additional shares by issuing shares to the existing shareholders at a price that is slightly below the value. Generally, is whereby you are issuing shares at a discount, and mainly to the existing shareholders. Remember, you cannot issue shares at a discount in the capital market to new investors. Now we proceed. And 9 million by long-term debt or loans. The investment is expected to generate pre-tax net cash flows of approximately 5 million per year for a period of what? So that is our annual cash flows. However, that is pre-tax. We need to know the after-tax. Then the residual value at the end of the 10-year is a forecast of 10 million after tax. Residual value is a terminal benefit, which is also an inflow at the end of the economic life of the project. As the investment is an area that the government wishes to develop, a subsidized loan of 4 million out of a total of 9 million is available. This will cost 2% below the company's normal cost of borrow or long-term debt finance, which is how much? 8. So meaning that the benefit that will be on the subsidy will be of how much? What will be the benefit? Is now the 2% of that debt. And then Kawaida Limited equity beta is 0.8. That is now for the company. And financial gearing ratio is 60% equity and 40% debt value, debt by value. The average equity beta now for our project is 1.2. So that means now for the project is 1.2, and average gearing is 50% equity, 50% debt by market value. Given one of the circumstances under which we are using the word adjusted NBV. When you look at the capital structure of the company, it's different from the capital structure of now the what? The project. Now, risk-free rate is 5.5% per annum, and the market return is 12% per annum. Issue costs are estimated to be 1% of debt financing, excluding the subsidized loan, and 4% for equity financing. These costs are non-tax allowable. Corporate tax is 30%. You are to estimate the adjusted NBV. Now, I not written you on how to get the adjusted NBV, but now you can write here. Get adjusted NBV will be given by the base case. Base case NB plus the present value of subsidy. You have the present value of the interest, tax shield. Then you minus the present value of issuing or the flotation cost. Issuing or the flotation cost. So we together. That is how you'll be able to get the adjusted NBV. And remember, when NBV is positive, you accept the project. NBV is negative, you reject the project. So let's begin with our first step, which is to determine the base case NBV. As I've said, NBV is the present value cash input. You minus the present value cash outflow. The present value cash inflow, you minus the present value cash outflow. Are we together? So now, what we now be able to get first is our cash flow. How do we get our cash flows? Remember, the cash flows we've been given as the pre-tax annual, meaning that they will be generated each year in perpetuity. So in 10 years, sorry. So that means to get our cash flows, we were given pre-tax. That is the earnings before tax. Which in this case, the earnings before tax was of 5 million. What I'll just do, I'll just let the what? The tax, which is 30% of 5, which in this case is 1.5, right? That means our earnings after tax will be of how much? Which this is now our annual cash flow. This will be our annual cash flow. Now, number 2, then this one we have to discount them for us to get the present value cash inflow. We have to look for the discounting rate, which is the cost of equity. And we said we use CAPM, the risk-free rate, plus the expected return of the market, minus the risk-free rate, multiplied by the beta, but this will be for unlevered. Are we together? No, we don't know the beta here. So we can get the beta of unlevered. After we use this is what we call the Amada model. There is what we call the Amada model, where we say it is the beta of equity of levered divided by 1 plus the proportion of debt over equity. 1 minus debt equity, right? Are we together? So in this case, it will be how much? Go to the second column there. Remember, is only for the what? The project. Sawa sawa. Because this is now the project that we are evaluating, not the company. Kwa pamoja. So Kawaida Limited equity beta is 0.85 and its financial gearing is 60% equity, 40% debt by value. Hiyo ni ya company. We don't want that for the company. What we are interested on is a project, which is a food manufacturing what? Industry. Now, the average beta, equity beta in the food manufacturing industry is 1 point what? Now, is it the beta of unlevered or is it the beta of the levered? Beta of the levered. Reason being the project is financed using what? Equity and debt. So that is our beta of the levered, which is 1 point. 1 plus the proportion of debt is how much? 0.5 over 0.5. I multiply by 1 minus transition. 1 minus 0.3 will give us how much? Will give us how much? How much is it giving you? Inakupea ngapi? 0.7. 0.7. So I can now get the cost of equity. And remember, this is generally our discounting rate. So it is the risk-free rate 5.5. Expected return of the market 5.5. You multiply by 0.71, which in that case is giving you how much? How much is they giving you? Yeah. So I just use it as the whole value. That's up 10%. Are we together? Now, having that, now we can get our present value cash inflow. This is out of the cash flows generated. And we have our annual cash flows. So we know they were annual. So annuity, we mean they are equal amounts that are received within a given period of time. So it will be annuity. You multiply by present value in interest factor of annuity. The R in 10. Our N is 10 years. R is the 10%. Are we together? So this will be our annuity here is 3.5. Let me just use the old value. 3.5 million. You go to the tables now. Go to the table. Go to the table. And this is from now is table. The second what? Second table is for the annuity. Remember, second table, use it when you are having equal cash. What's up? Ama ukitaka to waste your energy time, you can just copy 1 to year 10 and then you use the first table. We give you the same. What's up? Yeah, that is how when you have time and also energy to do what? Waste. So just use the second table where you just go to the rate, which is 10%. That is the rate is on horizontal. Vertical, we have the period, 10 years. It's giving you how much? 6.0. 1446. How much is he giving you? Spend it. 1. So now Inflows, we are not yet done with them. There is a terminal what? Terminal benefit. When I talk of terminal benefit, it benefit realized as at the end of the what? The project. So. And for the terminal benefit, remember that the end, it will only be realized in year what? Year 10. So this will be the present value interest factor. Now this will be 10% in year. That is now from the past table. So our terminal benefit was of 5 million. You multiply by. You go to the now the past table. Remember, it's only for one period, and for one period or single period, we use the first table. 10% in year 10. Niambieni inakupea 0.38. If you multiply that, how much is they giving you? How much is they giving you? 1927. So get the total present value cash in. Kuna swali? Is that okay? So now, is there any? Yeah? Okay, so how much are you getting? 23, 433, 600. You less now our present value capital flow together. So our NBV will be 23, 433, 600. What is our initial investment? For that project, he has to finance it with an amount of how much? Inahitaji pesa ngapi? Yes. Project needs how much? Inahitaji pesa ngapi? 20. You the last of the first statement. So what is our base case then? You get numbers? Our base case and we will give you negative. That way. 400. We go to Roman 2 or step number 2. The present value of subsidy. This is net of what? Net of that. Now, what was our subsidized loan? The subsidized loan, the loan that was subsidized. It was of 4 million. That was our subsidized loan. What we want is just the benefit. Right? So the benefit was that is on the second last line there, the last line on the first paragraph. This will cost 2%. You know, also the benefit below the normal. So it will be 2%. Oh, this one is 4 million, but this is net of taxation. So you less the tax, 1 point minus 0.3. So I just multiply by 0.7. So what will be our subsidy? The subsidized, the subsidy benefit. We are over much? Yes? 56. That is now the cash flows from that subsidy. What we want is the present value. So the present value will be of how much? Present value. I mean the present value will be given by what? Remember, this is also an annuity. The the benefit will be of 56,000 each year. For how many years? 10 years. So it is an annuity. Present value interest factor of annuity. But in this case, we said we discount them at what? The subsidy is at risk. So that means in this case, I just get 56,000. This one, you're not going to get it on the table. So what you do, you use the formula. The formula on the second table, 1 minus 1 plus r power negative n over so that is the formula for values in the second table. So I just have 1 minus 1 plus 0.055. This is power negative what? And then I divide by 0.055. So that will give you out. So first get this meaning that. Tell me his amounts. How much is he giving you? Yes. Yeah. I've said this. On the notes, this is what I've said. The benefits on the subsidy and also for the one in the interest tax shield, we discount them using the what? The risk-free rate. And what is our risk-free rate? 5.5%. And that is now why we are using the 5.5. You are not supposed to use the what? The cost of equity. Cost of equity, remember, is for the equity. Here we are talking about debt. And debts in this case, you either have the cost of debt or what we call the risk-free rates. And we are talking about those debts that are offered at risk-free. So this will give you how much? 537. You multiply by that. How much is it giving you? 422. 105. We go to Roman number, the step number 3. Present value of interest. Now, remember for the interest tax shield, get the interest tax shield, you first get the interest, you multiply by the taxation. Are we together? So I'll just have interest here. We have 2 loans. There was the subsidized. Subsidized loan. And there was also the unsubsidized. So let me begin with the first. For the subsidized loan, ilikuwa ngapi? 4. So this one was offered at what interest? 6%, because it was too low below the company number, which is 8. So this was 6%. And this one of 5 million was offered at how much? Yeah, this is for the exist, which will be 8. So what will be the interest? First one is 24 to 40,000. This other one will be 400. Is it 400,000? So get the total 640,000. That is the total interest. What we want is the tax shield. So our tax shield We know it is the rate, you multiply by the interest. 640. Which in this case is how much? 192. 192. Right? So we now get the present value. So it is still annuity. You multiply by present value interest factor of annuity. This is still, we say is also out of debt. So that is why we're using the risk-free rate. Then 10. So this will be 192. Already we know this 7.53. We give you how much? How much is it giving you? Is giving you how much? Yes? 1447 to 19.2 to 19 to 19.2, right? Now the last one is the present value of what? Issuing cost. Now begin on that. The last statement, the last line statement there. Last line statement, you've been given that issue costs are estimated to be 1% for debt financing, excluding the what? Subsidized. So for the debt here, it will be 1% of how much? See, 5 million. We're only considering the unsubsidized. So are we together? Are we together? Yes. Which in this case it is how much? 50? 50,000. These are the one for equity. And then for equity financing will be of how much? 4% of how much? For equity anatumia ngapi? What is he using on the equity?
10,000.
Yes?
10,000.
10 million. Is only on the what? The right page. Remember, for internal funds, you don't incur flotation costs. What you retain, you incur flotation costs. No. So this is how much? Is it 40? 400,000. So get the total. 450. So with that, we can get our adjusted NBV. Our base case NBV was Obama. Was of negative what? 1566,400. You add. We have 422. 105.6. We also add 1447. 219. Then we also add, we less 400. So what is our adjusted NBV? What is our adjusted NBV? And that is 117.
0.2.
0.2. Any mengine umepata hivyo. The rest you've gotten the same value. Yes. How much have you gotten from them? Negative 147. 6. 147. Yeah, 0.75.2. And I'm already calculating sana. Come on. Yeah, that one can mess you up. Unapata formula, but now out of your energy that you're going to use, you meet the answer. So, now let's just talk about the last one, which is now the lease or buy option. And talk of the lease or buy option. I've said for the rights issue, and the other one for the leverage, that is with regards to section 3. So the only thing that now I'll do is on the leases. Now we do on the leases, lease or buy option. Lease or buy option. This one you've done. Lease or buy option. Lease or buy options. Lease or buy options. Lease or buy option. Now, when you talk about a lease, we are talking about a contract that is existing between two parties. One party known as the what? Lessee, and the other party known as the what? You know who is the lessee and lessor. Who leases the item? Lessor, and the lessee is who is being leased. Now, for these purposes, you have to understand the types of leases. And I know this one you talked about it in financial reporting. Now, the types of leases. The types of leases here. Now, we have three types of leases. One is what we call a financial. You know what's a financial lease? Financial lease. There is a financial lease, operational lease, or the operation lease, and what we call a sell and what? Lease back. And those who are saying the last break, we have only 20 minutes so that we finalize. So there is only that I give you the break, then we are almost finalizing. So, yeah, we were to go up to 2. You say 3. I think also, or you are to go up, we were to go up to 3. It's okay then. I thought it's 4 hours. So I was just asking about what we call the types of what? Leasing. Now, on the types of leases, we have what we call the financial lease and what we call the operational lease and sales and lease back. Now, this is generally in regards to the period that you are leased the item. So when I talk about a financial lease, this is now where you are leased that item, probably more than 75% of the useful life of that asset. Like for example, when the asset is having 5 years useful life, and you are leased that item for 4 years. That is a financial lease. So what does that mean? You are the one to account for the asset, that asset, and any expense relating to the asset you are the one to incur. Tuko pamoja? And that is why for the purposes of financial reporting mlikuwa mnaona, you are to include it on the company. Sawa sawa. Are we together? That is now what we mean when we talk about what we call a financial lease. Now, operational lease, if you are leased the item for less than 75% of the useful life of that asset, like for example, the item is for 5 years, you are leased the item for 2 years. Kwa pamoja. So ni kumaanisha still the ownership is not on you now. Ownership is still to the what? The lessor. Kwa pamoja. And therefore, the lessor is the one who will have to incur the expenses relating to that item. And is also the one who is supposed to account for the what? For the asset. Kwa pamoja. Then we have the sales and lease back. When you talk about the sales and lease back is whereby now the lessor will sell the what? The item to the lessee. Let me not use the word lessee. Now ameuza na mwenye anauzia, then he leases the item back to you. Sawa sawa. That is now what we call the sell and lease back. Now, for the purposes of lease or buyout, in this case, we only determine what we call the NBV. So we look for NBV when he leases the item, and NBV when he chooses to buy the what? Their asset. So you just write there, just on the definition, that is on the buy, lease or buy, lease or buy out. Lease or buy option, say. Lease or buy option, say. Lease or buy option, say. Say. This is a contract between two parties, in which one party known as, these are contracts between two parties. These are contracts between two parties, in which one party is a contract between two parties, in which one party, known as the lessor, gives out a right, or gives out the rights, gives out the rights to the other party, gives out the right to the other party, gives out the rights to the other party, known as the lessee, other party known as the lessee, to use the asset, known as the lessee, to use the asset. Lease or buy option we do December 2011, question number 1B. December 2011, question 1B. Number 2011, question 1B. December 2011, question 1B. December 2011, question 1B. December 2011, question 1B. So this is how the question reads. Motor Limited is considering whether to buy a certain machine costing 10 million or to lease the machine. It is estimated that the machine will reduce variable cost by shillings 31 million per annum. The machine will have an 8-year life with no salvage value. Machine will be depreciated on straight line basis. The company's optimal capital structure is 50% debt to total assets, and it before tax cost of debt and cost of equity is 15% and 25% respectively. Corporate tax rate is 30%. The company were to lease the machine, the fees would be 21.4 million per annum paid at the end of the year. Assume that the lease is a finance lease. You are required. The NBV, if farm decides to buy an NBV, if the farm decides to do it, need the machine. Or I'll begin with the NBV. If the farm decide NBV, if the farm decide. Now, you know, to get the NBV, generally the present value cash inflow minus the present value cash outflow. The present value cash inflow minus the present value cash outflow. Now, what we don't have here is now the cash flow. And to get the cash flows here, we will prepare what we call the cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. And our cash flow statement, this is how you do it. You just get what we call the cost what? Cost savings. What is our cost savings? The cost will reduce by how much? Did that one? That 1 million. So let me just use the shillings in million. So it will be that 1, right? After that, we less the depreciation. Now, how do you get depreciation? Is the cost minus the salvage value. You divide by useful life. The cost was 10 million. No salvage value. Useful life is 8 years. So it's just the cost, salvage value, you divide by useful life. Which in that case, it will give you how much? Yes? Hello? 1.25. If you minus that, what you get here is the earning before tax. Which in this case is how much? Yes? 29.75. That is the earning before interest and what? Tax. So, our initial cost was 100,000, not 10 million. They should be 12 points. Yeah, they should be 12.5. It will give you how much? So this is 10.5. We learn the transition. Tax we were given 30% of 18.5. Yes. 12.5 or 5.55. You will learn that how much is it giving you? That is earnings after tax. You getting? And then we add backward. The reason that we do that is because depreciation is our allowable expense. Disallowable expense. Since it's disallowable expense, we don't provide for the taxation. So you let the depreciation, then you add it back, which is 12 point, which in that case is giving you how much? Yes. That is our annual cash flows is 25.45, right? So we can get the present value cash inflow to be annuity multiplied by the present value interest factor of annuity, right? That is R in N. We don't know the R which is our KE, our WSCC, sorry, which is our WSCC. Our WSCC is our area, our discounting rate, which we get it by taking the what? Weight of equity, cost of equity. Weight of debenture, cost of debenture, 1 minus taxation. Right? Now we were given that. What was the weight of equity? Proportion of debt to total assets. Ilikuwa ngapi? 50%. Sindio? Which is 0 point. You multiply by the cost of equity. 10. Then plus this will also be 0 point what? 25. So this one is 15 now. 1 minus this. Now you have understood why this proportion is both 0.5 and the other one 0.5. Yeah, remember total assets is equals to total equity and liabilities. You know, which is the debt and liabilities. The equity and liabilities which are now the debt. So if they talk about the proportion is just out of the total equity and liabilities. Because total assets is just the same as total equity and liability. So meaning that if the proportion of debt is 0.5, the remainder will be for the equity. Now, how much did they give you? Inakupea ngapi? 17.75. With this one, I say just 18%. So having that, we can just get 25.45. You multiply by, you go to 18% in year 8. 18% in year 8 on the annuity tables. Near being a ngapi? Yes, how much are you getting? 18% on the annuity table in year 8. Umeangalia gani? Angalia tu moja. 4.07. Hiyo ndo nimeambiwa. Yeah. In all the tables there is no 18%. Zote. You sure? But you know the formula. No. Does it mean that if you don't know you have not seen the 18%, you don't have to use it. You know the formula. So you can use the formula. Use the formula. Niambie itakupea ngapi? So how much is it giving you? Yes. 103.7 million. So I can less the present value. This is our present value cash inflow. We less the present value cash outflow, which is how much? The initial investment is 1 million. So what will be our NBV? 3.7. That if he decides to buy. So we also get the NBV if the farm, NBV if the farm decides the NBV if the farm decides to do it, to lease the machine. Now, If they decide to lease the machine, what we need to determine is now the cash flows again. If in this case they decide to lease the machine. So I'll just begin with the cash flow statement here. Cash flow statement. What we want to know is our annual cash flow. So from the cash flow statement, we begin with the cost savings. Ngapi? Hiyo mwaka. What was the cost savings? Is still that 1 million. The machine yote tu ndio tunaambiwa is expected to reduce the loss. So this is regardless of whether you lease it or not. It will reduce. So now what now we've learned here is now what we call the what? The lease cost. Because you will now be paying the lease cost per annum. So the lease cost is how much? 21 point. So again, this is now what we call the earning before. Now in this case, you're not going to less the depreciation. So the earning before tax will be about 9 points. So you less the transition. 30% of 9.06. 9.6 will be how much? 2.8. So what is our annual cash? Which is our earnings after tax? 6 points. 6 points. 72 million. That is our annual cash flow. So we can get the present value. The annuity. Present value interest factor of annuity, right? This is at what rate? 18% in year 10. So it will be 6.72. I multiply by how much? 4.077. Inakupea ngapi? $27 points. So we learn our present value cash flow. Now, when he leases the machine, what is he going to pay? 0. Sawa sawa. Hii nimewambia is a financial lease. Kwa pamoja. Wewe kazi yako tu ni kulipa the lease cost mpaka the lease term ishi. And at the end of it utakuwa umetumia the machine for its useful. Is there anything that you will have paid initially? No. That is why it will be 0. Therefore, this will just be awesome. That is the end. So out of the two, what should he use? To lease the what? Lease the machine since the NBB is higher. Was leasing the machine for 10 years or 8 years? It was 8 years. So I don't, it's not 10 years, it's 8 years. When you look at the question, it was 8 years, like the machine will have 8 years life. It's not 10 years. So is there anywhere I've written 10? Oh, this one should be 8. 8 years. Sawa sawa. Yeah, that is why I've used the same rate here. And that is how mainly you do for lease and lease or buy what. I think it's a question that was there in the previous sitting. Lease or buy option. Any question number 2 or which question? Yeah. That doesn't mean that it won't be there. There are chances that it may be there. Yeah, last sitting was there question number what? Lease or buy? Question number. Yeah. So there question number 4C. Sitting for their question 4C. Lease or buy option. And those are now what we call the special topics in what? Financing. So we meet in our next class. We do on mergers and acquisition. I know that will take us 1 hour. And then we do the risk analysis and capital budgeting. So the risk analysis in capital budget. That is mainly on the capital budgeting. Anyone who is having a question? Advice I said is on releasing the where the NBV is higher. And where the NBV in this case is higher is on when he leases the what? The machine. Is that okay? So any question? So we meet in our next class, then we do on the rest. Next class will also be on Sunday. Will also be on Sunday.